All right, boys and girls, Cage Menace crew. We got Pedro, we got Emil, we got Suki, and we're back from probably one of the best cards I've seen in a while, UFC 305. Emil basically agrees that Chimaev lost that fight, and it's great that he's out of the UFC. So, how we feeling after 305?
Go ahead, my friend.
I'm feeling okay. I am a bit disappointed that I lost the bet, but it is what it is. We're 1-1 now, so it's all good. Like, we're not in the losing position, so I'm happy with that. But
One question before we move on to
yeah,
Pedro. How does it feel accepting reality and the fact that that is actually what happened? No longer in denial.
it's good to finally have my eyes open. It's like finally realizing that Earth is actually flat. Like once you really get deeper into it, bro, like you start to understand.
And when you think about it, you basically admit that it should be 2-0 for me because the first fight.
Basically, yeah, but it's not. So that doesn't matter what the technicalities are, but I won. It's 1-1. Don't get too cocky now, bro.
Okay, sounds fair. Okay, so today we're gonna be giving our opinions on who the fighters of the last card should be fighting next. We're starting off with the Li Jingliang fight versus
Hold on,
Carlos
I
Prats.
got a quick question off the dome. Quick question before we get into that main card. How did you guys feel about that Walker Tafa fight? Quick second from both of you. I'm not going to give a big opinion, but like we got officially a verbal stoppage. It was in the first round. I mean, what are your thoughts there?
I mean, I don't know why he was acting the way he was acting. He verbally tapped, which is sometimes it happens. You have to do it, even if you're screaming while you're getting your heel turned away from the rest of your body. It's a verbal tap, and that's it. I don't know why he was so mad about it. Maybe he was like, I wish we kept it on the feet. But Walter Walker did what he had to do. He was getting pieced up, and yeah, so.
Yeah, and like even if he thought that it wasn't like a tap, I don't know why he was mad at Walker. Like, what did he do? Like, he just did his job. Go be mad at like the referee. But he knows that if he does something weird, he's out of the UFC. Like, there's no bullshit policy at this point, so he knows that he can't. And he acted like a child, to be honest, Brian. I have no idea why he slapped Walker as well. It was kind of weird. It's just not a good look, bro, overall.
Yeah, so...
Walker looked great, in my opinion. Lost the weight, looked good on the ground. I mean, hopefully we can see some fights from him in the future. But, yeah, let's talk about the shit that matters.
Okay, we start with the loser or with the winner?
Oh, we're doing for the losers as well? I thought for the winners only.
Maybe. It's up to you guys. Let's be honest, like, what's next for Li Jingliang? He's coming off, like, a long layoff... brutal knockout, first time getting knocked out in his career. He looked visibly older. I saw a lot of people saying that on the internet. I don't know. I don't know what's next. I don't know if you should retire. I mean, but this was a really bad fight for him coming back from that long of a layoff. The UFC was really bad to him this time, huh?
100%.
Yeah, bro. And Carlos Prats, bro, he looked so good. It's insane, bro. Like, this guy is so good. Listen, this guy had such a good performance that some people are saying that he looks like Anderson Silva, bro. Like, that's how good he looked. Insane, bro.
I wonder...
You'll back me up on this. You'll back me up on this. I've been glazing this boy for at least a couple weeks, and definitely since that last fight. I just honestly, even because he's one of those guys when you do the tape study, you're seeing what you're seeing, and you're like, holy mother of God, holy, like that's the kind of fighter he is. For me, if we're talking about Lee, I think there's a grappler lower in the ranking that's about to get a gift from the UFC. So as you just said, if the UFC did him dirty with this fight, you can pretty much guarantee their next look for Lee is find him an up-and-coming grappler who kind of struggles on the feet, who they might want to test a little bit. That's going to be the fight you see him in, where hopefully he gets another big knockout and works his way back up.
Am I supposed to be thinking of a name, or is just going completely over my head right now? Are you talking about someone specifically, some grappler?
I mean, to be honest,
okay.
I can't think of anyone off the top of my head. It's just like when you look at the way the UFC sets up fights, the big power puncher who had a big name just got knocked out by a huge prospect. So in my mind, it's like give this guy someone who'd be a favorable matchup, who we can kind of get some stock back in him. And I'm sure there's a bunch to pick from. And the fact that the UFC is trying to get rid of them or kind of lower that style of fighting, like this is the kind of guy they're going to throw at these guys to hopefully get exciting fights.
Guy Michael Chiesa, bro. I feel like that's a perfect matchup here. At this point, I feel like it's a perfect matchup.
Yeah, but Carlos Prates, what's next for him?
Listen, guys, I think that I have the perfect one. Like, I'd like to hear what you guys think. Like,
no, you go ahead, because like in my mind it's just someone right outside the top 15. You can't like put him in. It's his third fight in the UFC. Second fight, third fight.
For Prates?
Yeah, Prates.
Third fight, yeah.
Third fight. So yeah, a fighter, someone right outside the rankings. What are you thinking?
Like, he who called out Chaos Williams, for me, Kevin Holland. He was supposed to have a fight against Chris Curtis.
I knew
Chris
it.
Curtis out of the fight. Carlos Prates versus Kevin Holland, bro. How good would that fight be, bro? That would go crazy.
You're throwing him right into the top 15.
I don't know if Holland is still top 15.
He is exactly number 15.
50.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so that's about like, just outside the rankings or the rankings. I feel like that's good. Like, if he beats Kevin Holland, he's at 15, so he's barely ranked. That doesn't like really even matter. So
I like that fight for him, to be honest. I think he could do well.
I feel like he could knock him out, bro.
Yeah. Right.
Kevin Holland is good, but
Okay, shall we move on to the next one?
Oh,
This one
Suki-
breaks
Suki
my
doesn't-
heart. Go ahead. Sorry.
Suki doesn't have one.
No, I think, to be honest, ranked was my way of thinking, and I think Venom Page would be a great. I like this idea of testing guys against. If Venom Page is going to go against a guy like Ian Gary and show that he could keep it, stay in that fight. In my opinion, well, let's test how willing he is to strike, because Carlos Prates is going to be that guy who can, move with him a little bit, really test the action, and I think that's where people don't believe in MVP yet. He's kind of more of the counter striker, might throw 20 strikes in a fight, but they're all going to land. With Prates, I think you're going to get a fight where both these guys really have to, fight for the win, and you never know. I think he could do some real damage there.
Okay, let's move on to this. This fight was a heartbreak for me, seeing our boy Taito Ivasa. People saying Australia has their new Tony Ferguson, which is a horrible thing to say. But it's the feeling I'm getting at this point. 5-fight losing streak. This one, at least he didn't get finished. A judge had the fight for him 3 rounds to none. That's also a talking point.
Insane.
That guy got walked out. That guy got walked out of the building.
He did?
That's how bad it was, bro.
Yeah,
That's how bad it was.
basically,
Like,
the Western
next night-
Australia Gaming Commission was like, yo, that guy can't work again tonight.
Nah, bro.
He's probably hammered. It might be Ty's cousin or something. Like, just get him out of here today.
Bro, he was getting the shoe ready, bro. Like, he was about to throw the shoe into the octagon for Ty, bro. He was hoping. It made
100%.
no sense. And 29-28, I'd be like, but 30-27, bro? That's insane. Like, which round do you even give close to Ty, bro? Nothing.
The scorecards were pretty interesting. Even in the main fight, we'll talk about that later. I was taking a look at the cards, and some iffy decisions over there. But yeah, what's next for Ty? Let's start with that. I think.
It's a good one, man. It's a good question.
That's a tough one, to be honest with you.
Is it his last? I'm pretty sure he has more fights in his contract, or no? I have to look into that. But if I feel like the UFC could still keep him around. It's not like he's been losing to like some no names. He's been losing with guys on the top of the division. And his style is it's kind of like 50-50. Either he wins in a spectacular way or he loses in a horrible way. This time it wasn't it could have been worse. But I feel like give him some layup. Like, let the guy get some confidence.
Give me Rodrigo Nascimento. I'll take Rodrigo Nascimento for 500.
I have a great fight, bro. Marcos Rogerio de Lima. I feel like that would be.
I was thinking that. But if that guy gets a finish on Ty, people would be crying in the crowd for sure.
For sure, bro. I feel like Marcos, to be honest, finishes him like with leg kicks. To be honest. That's what I would
Mhm.
think.
Yeah, he's getting much better on the feet. Nascimento really tried to sell us before that Derek Lewis fight, I think it was, and that was hilarious to watch, to be honest with you.
But yeah, so we agree that he deserved a little bit of a layup to get some confidence back into him.
For sure,
And
bro.
what about Biggie Boy? What's next for him?
Hey, there's only one fight that makes sense for Biggie Boy, and we should have gotten this fight like 5 years ago, and it's still relevant. Who?
I think Sergey Pavlovich is the perfect matchup. He's coming off some rough losses. I think you should put these two guys against each other.
It makes sense, but for me, bro, put him in there with Derek Lewis. That's the fight we need, bro. Biggie Boy versus Derek Lewis. That's the fight we need. Why haven't we had this fight before?
I think Derek Lewis is currently scheduled against Romanov. Who's fighting Romanov next?
That's true, bro. But like, who cares, bro? Like,
No,
we get
you
that
know
fight
exactly
off, bro.
what this is. That is what I've been talking about. That is a UFC fight where it's like, hey, Derek, we need a guy who we don't really want around anymore. Can you help us make this happen? And I think that's what's happening there.
You guys feel like Curtis Blade is too much of a jump?
They already fought.
But I wouldn't mind seeing that fight again. When was the last fight?
I don't know, 2022, I think, was a terrible fight too. So I wouldn't want to watch it, to be honest. Like, honestly, any Curtis Blaze fights, I'd rather just not watch. Like,
Yeah, because
with all due respect.
I feel like if you give Jairzinho to any of these grapplers, it's gonna be a bad day, a bad work day for him. Like Sergey Spivak, I feel like not a great matchup for him, but that could be a fight as well. I'm sure he'll be back in the top 10 after that win. Tomorrow we'll get to know, but yeah.
I feel like Pavlovich is a great shout if Lewis is not available. I think that's the one.
Yeah, I really think Pavlich is the guy because you give both guys the chance. Like even if Biggie Boy can last the 3 rounds, if that's his style, I mean Pavlich is the guy that's going to test him on the feet. I think you talk about exposed, right? I don't like using this like fraud check or whatever the hell people are using nowadays, but the concept of like a big power striker like Pavlovich to go against these like technical style kickboxing, I like seeing that because that's the edge of your seat fighting, right? Like how long can this guy stay technical before this guy, lands on him? And I think that's a good one.
Yes, sir. Wanna introduce the next fight?
Okay, so next up, Dan the Hangman Hooker versus Mateusz Gamrot. Mateusz Gamrot, great fight by the way, sick fight. Mateusz Gamrot looked okay in the striking, but like the wrestling, the grappling, really didn't look as dominant as I felt like it would. To me, I would do Mateusz Gamrot versus the winner of Benoit Saint-Denis versus Renato Moicano. I feel like that's a perfect matchup to make. It's about a month apart from each other, or maybe even 2.
Will they train together? I think Moicano and Gamrot.
Moicano doesn't care, bro. Moicano wants money, bro. That's the only thing he cares about. And the rankings, like ranking-wise, it makes sense as well. Benoit Saint-Denis and Moicano are about top 10 ranked, and Gamrot needs to step down in competition, so I feel like that makes sense.
And both are very interesting fights because both are like good grapplers themselves, so it could be interesting. I was surprised to see people on the internet, a lot of people saying I was a robbery giving this fight to Hooker. I'd have to watch the fight, but I had a feeling like whenever Gamrot wasn't having like ground control time with he did have some good moments with the ground and pound, I believe, in the first. Besides that, I felt like Hooker, every time he touched him, he was getting hurt. He was feeling it, And Gamrot in so many moments, it annoys me because he's such a good wrestler, and I know for a fact. But that's the thing. I know for a fact he's not a bad grappler. I know in the past he used to train at
right?
He couldn't pass at all,
dude. But he was training with like the top grapplers in jiu-jitsu right now. Like he was in the Blue Basement back in New York when Gordon Ryan, all these guys were training there. He was a student of John Danaher, like the top grappling coach ever. So But in so many moments in this fight, for a second he had the standing guillotine against Dan, and he used the standing guillotine to turn Dan around and just get top position and let go of the submission to get the ground and pound off. I understand that 100%, but it's not like he's looking for the finish. I feel like he's just trying to look for points in this ground and pound instead of like taking the submission. I know it's a big risk jumping guillotine at the top level, but I don't know, like try.
He can scramble up easily, so he should have taken it for sure.
Yeah, it's surprising he doesn't go for more subs. But yeah.
Would you say that Dan Hooker's grappling's a little underrated though? Because I felt like for the most part, he's looked pretty good on the ground. Like nothing crazy ever really gets done to him in that sense, unless you're obviously like, I think he had 80% takedown defense going into that fight, and his resume is pretty solid. So
he hasn't really fought somebody that.
That's where my head was. 100%.
Islam did, and then he dominated them with Kimura like in round 1, and that's why I thought, man, bro, like Gamrot is maybe not as strong of a grappler or wrestler, but like the amount he shoots with, bro, I felt like at some point he just get takedowns and hold them there. But he's terrible at holding fighters on the ground, bro.
That's what I'm saying. I just felt like when guys get technical with him on the ground, especially from the bottom, it just looks like it's a little too easy, and maybe it's a tired factor, because the one thing with Gamrot, half the time, it's like even on the feet, when he takes a punch, it's like, good lord, buddy, try to make it look a little better, because that's what's losing you the fight, is every time you take a shot, big breath, back step, come forward again. It's just like, it was accurate, and he was showing damage, and when he got the fight to the ground, he couldn't pass. Dan was constantly active, was throwing those up kicks when it was like in that middle position. It's just, for me, no aggression, and I think that's where even the UFC as a company starting to, be like, boys, like we need more than this.
So
all right.
Now we have a good situation here for Dan Hooker. We have some very interesting fights we could make with him. I've been seeing some talks. People want to see the Battle of the Blondes. I just this morning I was watching. Dude, just this morning I was watching his interview with the Mac Life with Oscar Willis, and they were hinting at the matchmakers from the UFC. I think Dan went to them, and from what I understood, the matchmakers they want to make that fight. Myself, I would prefer to see him against Gaethje just because of the crazy slugfest it would be, and the striking battle. But Charles Oliveira is a great fight as well. But yeah. I want to. Charles is going to grapple. Let's just say that.
I feel like it's a good matchup with Gaethje, bro. I feel like with Gaethje's style, he could knock out like Hooker like in round 1, or it could be a crazy 5-round fight. With Charles, I feel like it's more 50-50. Even if he grapples, I feel like Hooker has good takedown defense. He's long, he's tall, and it's just gonna be a fun fight. I feel like that's the one to make.
The limbs on Hooker, bro. He's so long. His arms are so long. Charles is gonna take them home, bro. I feel like he can rip those arms off, bro. He's not like a short guy like Arman. Even with Arman, he had like triangle armbar in all these positions. I feel like it's. I think it's a more winnable fight for Hooker if he fights Justin Gaethje. And it would be a more fun one, 100%. It would be like a memorable fight like Poirier. I have a feeling, at least.
I don't know, man. I'm
actually with Emil on this one. I usually disagree with Emil and agree with Pedro, but on this one, I actually have to agree with Emil. And I'm going to say this because, like, Dan Hooker truly, like, if you look at how long he's been around, you have a lot of tape on the style of fighter he is, and you have to tell yourself that I picked him pre-fight to win this fight, and it's because it comes with that idea that, 1, the guy gets tired. 2, Dan Hooker could be the more powerful and definitely the more volume striker. Like, this is like how you assess if Dan Hooker can win the fight. And in my opinion, those are the kind of guys that he does the best against. Even a guy like Jalen Turner who possesses power, he still gets tired. And Dan Hooker was able to take over that fight. So for me, Justin Gaethje's the kind of guy that carries power through the fight, and I just think that he's got pretty good volume. That's what scares me the most about that. The last thing I want is Dan Hooker to come from this fight and go get finished early by Justin Gaethje. I really would love to see something more from him, and it goes into the conversation of, I'll be honest, like give him Michael Chandler. I want to see him fight a guy who, at least, is more of the take the punches and try to give them. Because I guess I'm being biased towards Hooker succeeding, but I also think the UFC is going to be very careful with how they use Hooker in his next fight because right now he's actually building some stock, and I think even Charlie can knock him out, bro. I think that's a scary factor in both fights.
It's a massive jump, though, if you think about it.
100%.
I mean,
I don't think it's that big of a jump because at this point, Hooker will be number 5.
you think they're going to give him number 5 straight away?
Yeah, Gamrot was number 5 or
was.
even number 4. So that's why. So it would only make
But I
sense.
mean,
And I
these
feel like-
rankings, you know how much they value these rankings. Like Max knocked out number 1 contender, number 2 Gaethje, and he was number 9. So these rankings, one thing I was thinking about, I'm not sure if they can actually make the Charles fight because I have a feeling they could make Charles versus Arman 2 for the interim.
that I'm
100%.
all for it, 100%. They might do it.
That
They might do it.
that fight being 3 rounds was one of the biggest, I think, blunders on the UFC's part. That was a 3-round fight, right? I'm pretty
It
sure.
That was my favorite fight at UFC.
One
2.
of the stupidest decisions. Like, why are you trying to stack a card for the sake of just stacking a card when you're taking away one of the in this division? That is one of the biggest fights. Period. And to not make it 5 rounds was just. I still can't believe it.
And I know Arman is calling out like Dustin and everyone
Well,
else but Charles for this
please
interim fight, but
Get your mic a little bit off your face. A
it's
little
that
bit.
close? Okay, my bad.
That's good.
But yeah, I feel like Arman is calling out everyone but Charles. He's trying to fight Poirier. Like, come on, we're not giving another title shot to Poirier. And the Charles fight was very close. Probably, in my opinion, a little bit closer than it for most people because I'm biased. But for me, it was very close, and I would love to see that fight again.
Listen. If we go based off like fights almost being finished, damage, this and that, then Charles won that fight, bro. But we're not looking at it that way. We're looking like at control and everything.
I like the way you think, bro.
For me, Charles won that fight. I'm gonna be honest.
Me too.
Also, Dan Hooker fighting Gaethje, I don't want that because I'm done with Dan Hooker taking damage, bro. I'm done with him taking CTE, bro.
There you go.
Good.
That's
Guys.
He's
my
given up
headset.
so many wars,
Give
bro.
him Armand. I would take Armand over anybody. I don't think he's gonna do damage. That's Emil. Me and you, we are like this on our opinion of Dan Hooker. I think you're in a position where you'd love to just see Dan Hooker in fights where you know he can win, and maybe do some work. Building that long-term stock, carry that. Because bro, his record, like you go through it and you're like, yeah, this guy is a legend. Like he really has taken on some of the best guys in the game. And yeah, to throw him up there against some of these other guys who are literally the title challengers right now, I don't think he's there. I think Gamrot just got exposed a little bit. That's just basically it.
Are we
Watch it,
forgetting?
watch it.
Are we forgetting about what just happened to Gaethje though? The guy just got knocked around for 5 rounds and slept bad.
Yeah.
Like if
Bro.
if there's someone who could get chinned by Hooker at this point, could be Gaethje.
Yeah, I don't want either guy to get CTE, bro. It's done. Like,
Listen,
But they're gonna get it either way. At least make it fun.
There's only 2 guys I love more than Junior Dos Santos, and that's Charles Oliveira and Max Holloway. Those 2 guys, no matter who you are, on any given day can make your life a living hell. And for me, I don't know if I hold that in high stock for Justin Gaethje because I think he can still come back from that and be the same guy. Like Max Holloway's a different animal, bro.
True for sure.
Not sure why we're talking about Max Holloway, but I agree 100%. My favorite fighter, bro. I love Max Holloway.
Easy.
My favorite fighter.
He's
No idea where we started talking about him, but I will chime in. Like
It was the Gaethje fight. That's what we're talking about.
Okay. Makes sense.
So
All right. We're yapping too much.
okay.
Yeah, we are we're like 6 fighters out of the card.
Okay, Charles. Yeah, we got this one. Next up, Kai Kara France for Steve Erceg.
My heart, bro.
The aura didn't help him out this time. It is what it is, guys.
Look, I talked lightweight division for an hour, bro. That's wild.
my heart, bro. I couldn't take it. I was not expecting this at all. At all. I know Kai Kara-France has great power, but I felt like Urseg was doing like a boxing clinic against the champ, and his technique is so clean. I felt he was. I didn't expect him to get caught with that, but he's Maori, bro. He's Maori. Maori's hit different, and yeah, congratulations to him though.
I got a perfect fight for Kai Kara-France, and I think you guys will agree. We have to see the rematch versus Brandon Royval, boy. Come on. Like, nobody at this point deserves a title shot. Brandon just beat Moreno, but he doesn't deserve a title shot. Kai Kara-France beat Urseg, but I feel like that's just not enough. And if you pair these guys up, like the first fight was insane. We all know that moment, like with the overhand right that knocked down Royval, and then Royval comes back with a spinning elbow, and then like a minute later, Kai Kara-France get guillotined like after trying to get a takedown. Insane fight. We have to see the rematch. We have to. I feel like there's a perfect number one contender as well.
I like that.
And that's it. Thank you.
I'll agree with you there. Yeah, Suki, had anything else in mind?
I think my biggest issue with this division is it's just this rotation of the same guys fighting the same guys, because outside of the top like 8, it's dudes that can't hang with some of these guys. But you have some of these guys on the come up, and you have to ask yourself, when do you start testing those guys? Because you got the Tagirs. Manel Kape is going to need a fight now, but outside of that, it's the same thing. Isn't Tetsuro Taira fighting someone? Because that's another good one, where I think Kai Kara-France against Taira would be something fresh, because these guys keep fighting each other.
Yeah, but for Kai Kara-France, why would he fight Taira? Like, what does that give him? It does give him a title shot.
The problem is that it's 4 and 5 in the ranking, and even if he moves up, like the Albazi rematch might be there because he wants to kick someone's ass. The Royval fight is a great one. Unbiasedly, I think that's a great fight. But again, it's just like we're recycling these guys where I'm getting a little bored of the flyweight division because it's the same guys fighting over and over again.
Boys, we're forgetting. I think Royval is booked against Tatsuro Taira.
That's what I was asking. He was booked against somebody in the top 5. It was a big fight. Thank you, Pedro. I knew that was a big one.
Okay.
That's why I asked.
Give him the title shot.
Yo, I say Albazi rematch, bro. Who's Albazi fighting? I haven't heard of
You
this
just
guy
said that you're tired of same people fighting, and then you're talking about a rematch that happened a year ago, bro.
That is coming from the decision that happened.
For sure.
That is my problem with that one.
Give him the title.
100%.
Give him the title shot.
It carries a storyline. That's what, out of the fight, I thought title shot. Out of the fight, I can pretty much guarantee this is where the UFC is going to go.
Also,
nah, bro. I think they're going to give the title shot to the winner of Royval and Taira.
We're also forgetting the Japanese guy who's making his debut. People are saying he could get a title straight away. Yeah.
But you know who said it, right? You know who the guy was that started this rumor?
Who?
Ruben Carter, bro. Do you know who this is?
This guy's also always posting fake news on Twitter. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. So, but I feel like the guy is probably going to get a top contender right away. Like a top 5 guy.
Maybe. Kai Kara-France would be a good one.
Give him Kai Kara-France, bro. Give him that guy.
Yeah, but see, the problem is that there's so many of those as the top. I don't think they're going to do Kai Kara-France dirty because of how high people were on Urseg coming out of that Pantoja fight. That's the big thing with Kai Kara-France is he's taking all that hype with him into his next fight. I think Pedro is right. For me, it would not be surprising, especially with Urseg already fighting after that one, to see Pantoja take on Kai Kara-France.
I don't think that's the way they're gonna go. I feel like Taira versus Royval is the number one contender, because like you just wait like 2 months and then you already have the contender. Why would you give Kai Kara-France, who just beat the number 9 guy, the title shot? When the champ has already fought.
I think it has more to do with keeping people active, and the simple fact that Kai Kara-France knocked somebody out. Like, you're forgetting that, Khalil Roundtree's fighting for a title soon. Like, the things that the UFC is looking for, it goes hand in hand with that performance. You're getting the hype, you're getting the social media knockout out of it. they really are trying to tailor their scheduling to those types of moments. So for me, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the UFC put that on the table, especially if it was like the winner of Kai Kara France and Pantoja takes on the winner of Tyra and Royval. I can see that being a thing, you know?
True.
Or Kaya Sakura. That might be a good one as well. Or maybe even the champion. Who knows?
Boys, we're yapping again.
Sorry. Right.
We're back to yap.
Main event time.
Okay, let's just jump our boy Steve Verseg. Give him some bum so he gets back on a knockout streak. Okay, let's go.
All right, Dricus Du Plessis. In my opinion, he should be getting the winner of Chimaev versus Whitaker, but he is getting Strickland, which I think is bullshit. But
I agree with you. I feel like that's 100% the fight. He should be fighting the winner, and Strickland should be fighting Izzy now. The rematch. I feel like that's the fight to make. You don't think so?
It makes sense what you're saying, but because the first fight was such domination, they're not going to be making a rematch if it's not for the title.
But but Whitaker is running through everyone right now. I feel like he would deserve the title shot before, and but yeah,
I agree that I feel like he should be getting the title shot before Strickland, and just give Izzy some time away, I guess, or maybe no, give Izzy Nasruddin Imavov. I feel like that's a great fight.
They're not gonna make that 100%. Too small of a name.
Imavov will probably beat Allen, and then he'll have a good name.
Allen's going to be champion.
For us, it's an interesting fight, but for the casuals who follow Izzy, they're not gonna want to watch that.
Adriel, brother, 1 second. Suki, could you please repeat yourself?
What did you say?
Imavov's going to be champion by the end of 2025.
No, you said Brendan Allen.
What? Now you're just putting words in my mouth.
You said Imavov?
Yeah.
No, I disagree with that as well.
I disagree with that 100%.
Yeah, I know. I really believe he's got such a, like, in terms of the potential to win fights, I mean, I think he's up there, man. We'll see.
We're laughing at you. Watch them the end of next year make an edit of this moment. We were making fun 100%. Of you and he becomes champion.
I was right about Dricus like 2 years ago, so let's see if it happens.
Yeah,
Imavov is good, but like cardio-wise, there's something there. Like I feel like he's not 100% there cardio-wise.
Bro, and Dricus, if you would have told anyone 2 years ago that he would have knocked out Whitaker and submitted Israel Adesanya, defending his title, is unbelievable,
insane,
bro. It's insane,
bro. I'd be laughing in your face, bro. I'd beat you up if you said this to me, bro. I'd kill you. I'd kill you if you said that to me, bro. It makes no sense, bro.
But dude,
makes no sense.
I want to say
the best part is this is my first time picking against Dricus in his UFC career. My first time, and he made me eat that too.
My first time picking him to win, because I always thought, okay, this guy's not good enough. Technically, he's not there. But this fight, I was looking at it like objectively, and I can see there's technique there. It looks horrendous, but he's good standing. Emil. He didn't agree with me. He beat Izzy in the first round standing. He won the second round 100%. The only clear Izzy round is the third round.
And the fourth round he was winning until he got dominated. I want to say one thing, Suki, you might have been right about the cardio thing. I felt like Izzy had much better cardio than he showed, but I felt like it was also him like getting physically tired and not getting like not the gas tank being low, but the fact that he had to fight with every fiber of his being to not get flatlined, like on the ground, to not get like flatlined when Dricus was on his back. I feel like that tired him out as well. I don't feel like the cardio was bad, but like his body just got tired. If that does make sense. But
halfway. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, brother.
No, I was just agreeing. I'm like 100%. Like the type of fighter that Dricus is, bro, it reminds you of the fights you were watching like 10, 15 years ago, bro. It's like the guys weren't these elite level athletes in like the specific styles that they are now. They were like good at everything. They developed their athleticism, and they found ways to win the fight. And that is actually, in my opinion, when you see some of the best MMA in general, because for Dricus to not only win these fights, but he knocked out Rob Whittaker. He submitted Israel Adesanya. You're like that aspect of MMA is something that even like for older fans, they probably miss. Like hearing some of the comments that people have about DDP in my mind is the most like I keep having to see these comments like like he isn't the real deal, like how is he so ship a champion? And it's like, are you seeing the same thing that I'm seeing? Like how does that make even sense?
I kind of agree though. I kind of agree. Like
I cannot.
Like you get what they're saying though. You understand what they're saying.
At this point, yeah, I believed it. What fight was it? Let me just get a quick name here, because he is the guy that could still almost get finished by Marcus Perez, if you remember that fight. Like it's an insane way of looking at things, but yeah, I think that's why I'm thinking about this card so much, is like there's some serious nostalgia in the way he's fighting, because a lot of these guys like Izzy, man, you look at the way Strickland did it. Even if you gave Izzy the excuses of not being at his best and all that kind of stuff, I mean, Dricus is really finding ways to even win the rounds. You know, like he's staying competitive. Even if he's swinging the punches, it's like follows up with takedowns. It's truly MMA. And that's why I can't agree with these statements. I can't. You're watching MMA, and I think there isn't anyone right now at the highest level showing like MMA skill more than this guy.
Bro, the best way I can describe watching Dricus fight, in this fight specifically, is he's doing exactly what I think, what I'm screaming at the screen, like, do this, do this, do this. I had a feeling he was listening to me. Because, like, most of these guys, for example, he gets a takedown on Izzy gives his back to stand back up, and most of these guys will try and control against the cage and accept, okay, he's going to eventually stand up and I'm going to hit him with a couple shots and then let go. He didn't hesitate for 1 second before jumping on his back. Both hooks straight away. And you have that opening. When the guy gives you the back at first, if he's not 100% close to the cage, you can jump both hooks in. And it's not usual you see a big guy like Dricus do this. And I love to see it. Man. And while Izzy was thinking about, okay, let me defend these hooks, he's already under the chin. He doesn't hesitate. He doesn't hesitate. He's very effective. I love when guys are technical and everything. They try and do it like slow and steady to get the correct positions. But he's getting the timing perfect. And even the shots he was getting Izzy with on the feet, like you see the ugly blitz he does. But it's so off timing. It's so off rhythm. Like Izzy is a guy, like he fights in his rhythm. And if you catch him like off rhythm for a second, he was catching him with those blitzes once in a while. And I don't know if you noticed the shot he hit Izzy, I believe it was the left hook, the way he turns in his knuckles, it doesn't look like a big shot, like Izzy doesn't like stumble or anything, but you feel that it hurts. Because he uses his knuckle, goes right into Izzy's eye, and you see how uncomfortable he gets for a second there. The smallest shots from Dricus were doing damage, and the finishing instincts, beautiful. I love to see it.
Yeah, man, it was a good fight overall. I'm happy Dricus won, to be honest, because now this like just fresh division, like fresh people, and I like to see that. Izzy is 35, or like if Izzy at this point still beats the champion, I feel like the division hasn't moved like skill wise, but it has, and I'm happy to see this. And yeah, that's it. I feel like Dricus will stay champion, whoever he fights. To be honest, I feel like he still beats Whittaker. I feel like he still beats. I feel like he beats Chimaev, and I feel like he still beats Strickland. That's.
I like Whittaker in a rematch. I want to see what happens.
I feel like mentally, bro, like Dricus is too strong, man.
He's
like,
very strong.
Like the way he was dead tired after round 3, but like he found the energy to jump on the back of Izzy, choke him out. If he wasn't able to get that choke, he would probably be done. right? Because that's so much energy he had to give to.
But
like,
even
get to
when
the
he's
end.
dead tired in the third round, you
Yeah.
can tell he's breathing deep. He's throwing like
Yeah.
loopy shots, but he's still there.
Yeah,
I feel like he's not going to curl up at any moment and just accept the loss. He's not going to do
curl
that.
up, but I feel like at that point that was so much energy. You saw him getting tired, and is he picking his shots? If he was able to get that, maybe he would be able to like go to the decision. But I don't think that he would have won. That's what I mean.
But for sure, his physicality gives him like a safety net for a lot of the things he does. You see,
For sure.
you see just the way he gets. I don't know if he was dropped or if he just stumbled or something. The way he falls over and he gets the ankle pick and just jumps on his back, dude. It's impressive to say the least. And
So
And
strong, bro.
the fact that the average fan can't see that is what has me very like as a like reading the comments and seeing how people feel about the fight per se. It's like people aren't watching for those things that make him so good, which is why the opinions are just so far fetched because he literally just took on the 3 best middleweights we've probably seen on average for other than maybe Pereira for the last like few years. And he's done it pretty easily. And I think Pedro's description was spot on. It's like when you see those hooks go in, because in your head you're like, it's right there, and you don't see it from some guys. And it's just so weird that in those moments, that's where, going back to that statement, he's just such a good MMA fighter. Like there's no other way to put it. He's an incredible MMA fighter.
for sure.
Well, I don't know about easy, but he won all 3, and he's a beast for sure. I'd love to see him against Chimaev. I feel like that'd be a great fight, but I feel like Du Plessis finishes him in round 3. That was if they
I
fought. I
don't
feel
even
like that
think
would
it's
be
a fair fight. Like I really believe that Dricus is showing a style where you're barely seeing the winning formula the other way. Like what is it? Have the best cardio of any fighter in the division at this point, and be able to just stay away from him for 5 rounds because Izzy couldn't do it, and he was one of the best to do it for years. Like that's the thing that really is the most impressive is that path to victory for the opponent is look like where is it? It looks pretty tough to find unless you're out grappling him to the point where he's just on his back the whole time and can't get up, or you are disciplined for 5 rounds where he's not getting to you, and we haven't seen it yet.
somebody with. Who could beat Du Plessis? Somebody that can match his physicality and that can match it for 5 rounds.
Bring back Yoel Romero.
Bro, I feel like the old Paulo Costa would have a good chance for like the first 2 rounds.
Old
I
one.
feel like he would.
The old guy, yeah.
The old Paulo Costa, I feel like, bro, even the Paulo Costa that fought Vittori, bro, if he was at 185, that would have been a good one.
Give Paulo Costa the title shot. Right
That's
away.
what I'm saying.
Give him title shots. Good fights. I think he takes it. Not just joking. But I want to say one last thing before we go, because I'm gonna have to go in a minute here, guys. I was very happy with the way both guys handled after the fight, the way they interacted.
Oh.
It was beautiful. The build-up, I did not like the build-up. I felt like it was too ugly. The things that were being said, I felt like it was creating a little bit of a, I don't know. I don't like the conflict there. It was way too personal, and I enjoyed the way Izzy took the loss. I know many times I say bad things about him, and I'm not a big fan, but he knows how to take a loss. I loved. Did you see the video of Dricus apologizing to Izzy's parents backstage? Beautiful. Both guys were gentlemen in that night. Just one thing I have to say: if it was the other way around, I'm not sure what would have happened. I feel like we would have seen like Izzy versus Paulo Costa situation, but I'm glad it happened like this.
And honestly, I would have loved to see that, but it is what it is. Just some shit happening, I'd love to see it. And bro, honestly, with the way
I prefer this.
Yeah,
Over
me
anything.
too.
for sure. Okay, I want to say something, but never mind. It's all good.
Guys.
I love the way it happened, and I think we're done here, right?
For sure. I'm gonna have to go to training to jiu-jitsu here in a second.
Jiu-jitsu.
I appreciate you guys' time. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope you guys had as much fun watching this as much as we love yapping. It's what we do. Yapping is what we like to do. So appreciate you guys so much, and see you on the next one.